house, and today I'm going to be continuing to celebrate this offseason that the Rams had. Obviously, if you guys saw my video yesterday, we celebrated Allen Robinson and really went in depth on what I believe he can bring to this offense. So really excited to see what he can do on this team. Today, we're going to be talking about none other than Bobby Wagner, a move that I'm really excited about because, I mean, this is a lot of the times people were questioning our linebacker position and we're kind of poking at it as being one of the worst in the league and whatnot. And I'm just really excited to see what Bobby Wagner can do on this defense. I'm going to be going through some of the stats about him and what he can do well for us and why you guys should be excited because, I mean, we knew that Ernest Jones was good. Like, we saw what he could do last year when he wasn't injured. He played really, really well, especially for a rookie. But then when you had Troy Reader out there, I mean, he used to be a special teamer, and so it was like, yeah, the Rams don't have the best linebacker situation. They made it work. But now we have a guy who's probably going to be going into the Hall of Fame, who can now beat up on his former team in the NFC West, and I think it's just going to be a lot of fun to see what Bobby Wagner can do. And so before I get into this video and really just kind of talk to you why I'm excited about him, I'm sure all you guys are getting pumped up about it. I'm going to go say hi to some of the people in the chat down here. So thank you all who have stopped in. We have David Roska, and I like that name too because my name is David too. We have Mountain Man says, almost time for the Rams to begin their mission to run it back. That's right. The Unknown Brick says, let's go Rams house. Thank you for stopping in. Rudy Ramirez says, whose house? Let's go Rams. That's right. Rudy Ramirez also says, let's go Rams, the best channel in the YouTube. Let's go. Thank you so much. And Payo Time is in here, guys. If you have not subscribed to Payo Time, definitely recommend you do that. He's been an amazing content creator to be able to collaborate with. He does great work for the Rams, so definitely recommend you go check him out. And let's see, is there anybody else in here? Yeah, that's right. Payo Time says, hit that like button. Thank you so much, Payo. So, guys, I've already talked to you about how I'm excited for Bobby Wagner. I'm sure we all are excited for what he's able to bring to this team, but I want to go through some of these bullet points on what makes me so excited about Bobby Wagner on this Rams team. So starting off, I think a lot of you guys have heard this, but Wagner has racked up over 1,383 tackles in the league, and that leads the league with the current players today. And so that is really, really good, obviously, for the Rams. He has the most tackles by any defender in the league right now, and I think that's really going to provide a boost to this defense. He's a guy who's a tackle machine. He seems to always be involved in the plays, so, you know, no matter if it's a run, no matter if it's a pass, jet sweep, whatever, he seems to be able to read it and get there, and I think his experience kind of plays a part in that, but he's always had a knack of being a part of the play, always disrupting the play in whatever way possible. For us Rams fans, over the last however many years it's been since he's been in Seattle, that's been bad for us, but being on the good side of this, having him on our side, I think it's going to be really fun to watch. So count on a lot of tackles from Bobby Wagner. He has never had fewer than 104 tackles on a season in his whole career, which is pretty impressive, honestly. And so just expect Bobby Wagner to be involved on any play, every play. And I think he's going to really provide a big boost to this team. Another bullet point here, he's a 6-time Pro Bowler, along with Aaron Donald being a 7-time Pro Bowler. So just adding more Pro Bowlers to this defense, a guy who has been respected by his peers and by the NFL as being one of the best at the position. I mean, the Rams have not had a linebacker like this in quite some time, maybe even ever, I don't know. But I think he's just going to really provide a good boost to this team, and him going to 6 Pro Bowls, I'm sure with him being on an even better run team, better defense, better team just all around with a better culture, I'm sure you can see more Pro Bowlers and Pro Bowls in his future. Another thing is he doesn't miss tackles, guys. I don't think you guys know how big this is, especially when we're playing a team like the San Francisco 49ers who just continued to pick at our linebackers. I made a video about this in the past. The 49ers, they love to pick on our linebackers when, you know, we had Troy Reader and Ernest Jones. Specifically, they would pick on Troy Reader. But Bobby Wagner doesn't miss tackles. And so I'm going to go on here. There is this, there's this article that had something talking about how he doesn't miss tackles. And I want to make sure that I can shout out the name for you real quick. Let's see. Because I don't want to just say a fact and not give credit to the site. I believe, yeah, okay, so this comes from the Rams Wire, and this is a huge fact about him. It says, here we go. Okay, this is a direct quote coming from an article from the Rams Wire. It says the number, or career missed tackle rate is only 5.9%. So it says this number on the surface probably doesn't mean much. However, when you compare Bobby Wagner's missed tackle rate to 5.9% in his career to Troy Reader's 14.2%, you realize how much of an improvement Wagner will be in the middle of the defense. He missed 14 tackles on 184 total attempts last season, making a career high of 170 tackles in 16 games. In 2017 and 2018, he combined to miss only 5 total tackles, finishing those games with a combined 271 tackles. So yeah, Wagner rarely misses when he gets this shot at the ball carrier. So guys, this is huge for the Rams because I talked about before with the 49ers, they seem to always be breaking through tackles, whether it's Deebo Samuel on those design tunnel screens or whether it is their running backs like Elijah Mitchell, what just go right up the gut and just seem to continue to break tackles. I know you guys know what I'm talking about when we're playing 49ers. Bobby Wagner rarely misses a tackle. 5.9% compared to 14.2% of Troy Reader is crazy. And the fact he only missed 5 total tackles in 2 seasons is also crazy. So that's going to provide a huge boost to this Rams run defense and just defense in total. Like, I'm sure you guys remember a lot of the times that, again, I respect Troy Reader. He was only expected to be a special teamer, but he missed a lot of tackles last season, and he missed a lot of them specifically to the 49ers. I think that's really where we're going to see a boost. I think that's really why we're going to have an edge versus the 49ers this year, because not only does Wagner have experience against the 49ers, but he's also great at wrapping up the ball carriers. And so I think that's going to provide a huge boost to our defense. Another thing is he's a great sideline-to-sideline player. So like I mentioned, he's really great at getting involved on every play, even if it's a jet sweep or something out wide that you wouldn't expect him to be able to go and track down. He's so quick at getting to each sideline so quickly. He can read the play quickly enough to blow it up before it turns into something big. I think that's going to be really big because Ernest Jones, we saw flashes of that, and I'm really excited to see what he can do in his second year when hopefully he's healthy the entire season. But again, I really don't want to be knocking Troy Reader this whole time, but with Troy Reader, he didn't have the speed to get sideline to sideline as fast. He wasn't as athletic, which isn't his fault, but I mean, it's just what we had to work with. And so a lot of the times we would see some big plays from opposing teams, and they would really prioritize attacking Troy Reader just because he wasn't the most athletic guy, the smartest guy. And again, he wasn't expected to be a great linebacker when he was drafted. He was just expected to be a special teamer. And so he definitely went leaps and bounds further than people thought. But, you know, with Bobby Wagner, I think it's really going to help having that sideline-to-sideline ability to blow up plays before they get anywhere. Another thing that I want to talk about that's pretty obvious, I think we're all excited about, is Ernest Jones's development. I mean, when you have a guy who's probably going into the Hall of Fame, who can help develop a guy like Ernest Jones, who's already really, really good and was looking like he was going to be a really, really good linebacker for the Rams for the future. When you have a Hall of Famer stepping in there to help show him the ropes, show him how to do things, how to watch tape well, and how to tackle well, all the different things that comes with being a Hall of Famer linebacker, I mean, that's going to do leaps and bounds for Ernest Jones's development. And again, we already saw how good he was. He played a pivotal role in that Super Bowl too. And so it just makes me more excited to see first the packages with both of them on the field at the same time, but also really being able to see Ernest Jones and Bobby Wagner together and just seeing that combo and seeing how Ernest Jones learns from a guy like Bobby Wagner who's going into the Hall of Fame. And just, I think it's going to be a really fun thing to watch. Another thing is that I brought up briefly before and I made a whole video on is that having Bobby Wagner here on this team, I don't care if 49ers don't believe me or not, I'm sure all Rams fans see this. This gives us a huge edge on the 49ers. I mean, we have a great roster already. We had a great roster last year in the years that we've played them and mostly lost to them. But really the most important part was missing when you're playing a 49ers team that loves to be a ball control team, loves to run the football right at you, physical team. I mean, Bobby Wagner fits that and knows how to counter that really well. And he has a great record versus the 49ers in his career. So I think that aspect of not missing tackles like I talked about, blowing up plays before they get there, the film study that he's doing such a great job at, he's always talked about staying in after hours to watch the film. I think that's really going to come in clutch here against the 49ers, and I think that we're going to have so much more success versus them because we have an elite talent at linebacker heading into the season. Another thing that we all know he's a great run defender. So again, that plays into the 49ers thing. He's always great at blowing up runs before they get to the second level. I mean, he comes downhill at them, and he comes in very confidently, not like shying back, letting the running back come to him. No, he's an enforcer. He's going to come at you, and he's going to lay the boom on you. And I think that's going to be really, really key for the Rams. I mean, we have a great run defense up front with Aaron Donald, Ashawn Robinson, or Great Games, whatever you want to switch out there. But having him, just in case, the running back gets passed, he can blow it up at the line of scrimmage. He can do all these different things. And we've seen he's been a great run defender throughout his career. Another big upside for the Rams is that he's got a lot of experience in this league. For all the seasons he played in Seattle, he's seen everything up to this point. There's just going to be little innovations that offenses make that he's going to have to get used to. But really, he's seen most of what the league has to offer. And so he can really coach up the players, or if he sees something, pre-play that he's seen before, he can know how to shut it down or communicate to the defense to switch. I mean, I expect him to be the Mike linebacker with the green dot. And so I think he's going to have that role and play it really, really well because of the experience that he has in the league. Another thing here is it provides a superstar to every level of the defense. I mean, you're talking about Aaron Donald, and then you have Bobby Wagner, and then Ernest Jones in there too, and then you have Jalen Ramsey. I mean, that's the 3 levels of the defense with a superstar Pro Bowler. I mean, I'll take that all day. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, there's so many different facts about Bobby Wagner. There's so many different things about him that I'm sure all of you guys are stoked about, so hyped up about. But man, he's just going to be so fun for the Rams this year. And it's one of those things like with Allen Robinson. Yeah, we may know that he's a great player and that he's going to provide a lot to this offense. But until we really see him, I don't think Rams fans know how good he is yet. Similar to the Stafford trade last year, a lot of us were hyped up. We were so excited about Matthew Stafford, wanting to see what he could do this offense. But still, we didn't know just how good he was until he stepped in. So I think it's going to be really, really fun to watch. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on Bobby Wagner, and there's just so much to look forward to coming into this season. We have a lot of comments in here, so I appreciate everybody who is in here. I'm going to see if I can catch up to everybody. There are a lot of people commenting through that, so I appreciate you guys. We have Greg Love saying Rams, baby, that's right. Will Robert says, so hyped for training camp. I go to school where they train. That's awesome. And then Pale Time says that 2024 first round is trade eligible. Yeah, that's right. And Pale Time also says, thanks for the shout out. No problem. Rudy Ramirez says, nobody is running on us. Nobody never leaves the game. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that our run defense is just going to look so much better this year. And our entire defense is going to look really good. And the one trade I continue to forget about, the one player that we have that I continue to forget about, it's Troy Hill. Somebody in the comments, it may have been Payo Time yesterday, somebody in the comments yesterday, I was asking a question of who are you most excited to see on this Rams team heading into the 2022 NFL season. Somebody said Troy Hill, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot we even had Troy Hill. And so I think this defense is going to be so good. There's so many key pieces, so much continuity on this defense, and then second year under Raheem Morris, I think we've learned a lot of what we can and can't do in this defense, and I think we're going to be really good, honestly, probably top 5. Let's see. Troy Allen, welcome to the stream. He says Bobby Wagner is still will shut Debo down. Super excited. I am excited too, and I'm still hyped up about that Nick Scott hit that he had in the NFC Championship game. I know you guys all know what I'm talking about, where Debo was coming over the middle and just got rocked by Nick Scott. I'm sure we'll see plenty of that with Bobby Wagner. Pale Time says Wagner is going to be so good with the Rams. I agree with you. It's crazy how the Rams wanted to draft him all those years ago and try to get him for better value, but then couldn't get him, then had to live with playing for him all this time, but now they end up getting him back. I think it's going to be so much fun. Let's see. Rudy Ramirez says we have Pro Bowlers in all 3 levels. Let's get it back to back. Yep, that's for sure. I mean, that's just so crazy to think of. I think us Rams fans are so spoiled with the type of team that we've been able to put together. I know it's only been a short amount of time since Sean McVay has entered in here in 2017, but I think I've really gotten used to the superstar roster with such high expectations to go to the Super Bowl every year. Like, having three Pro Bowler superstars at every level, or I should say it differently, a Pro Bowler at every level of your defense is insane. Like, I'm used to it right now because I'm a spoiled Rams fan, but, I remember the days when we were getting 4 wins a season, if that, so it's definitely a really, really fun era, golden era we have to definitely admire. Let's see. Wow, there's a lot of comments. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Payo Time says, question, who do you think gets named captain on defense? So many stars. That's a great question. So I forget how many captain patches that each team can give out because I know you can give multiple on the defensive side of the ball. I think Donald gets one for sure. I think Wagner definitely gets one. Ramsey has to get one, right? I think if it came down to between Ramsey and Wagner, I think Wagner would win it out just because of his leadership and everything. Not to knock Ramsey, I love Ramsey, but I think what Wagner brings in with him being the linebacker, I have a feeling he'd get the captain patch. But yeah, definitely Donald, Wagner, and potentially Ramsey on top of that. Good question though. Willie Bowen says hello, Peo. Welcome to the stream. Willie Bowen also says hello, Rudy and Randy Later Domingo. Yep. Let's see. Keeps on scrolling down fast. Johnny Ripple says, "What's up, Rams House? Hollins should be a key contributor this year." I'm glad you brought him up because I don't think Justin Hollins gets enough credit. Like ever since we saw Von Miller leave this team, everybody was looking to replace him. You know, everybody was trying to find a next star pass rusher to put on that edge opposite of Leonard Floyd, and that kind of shows how spoiled we are as Rams fans. But Justin Hollins was balling out before he got injured and before the Von Miller trade. I'm actually really excited to see what he can do, and I think he can get a lot of sacks. He was always involved on plays, a great run defender, and I appreciate you shouting him out, Johnny Riffle, because I agree with you. I think he's very underrated. Let's see. Anybody else in here? Whoa, that scrolled fast. Okay, what games do you plan on going to? Great question. As of right now, I don't plan on going to any Rams games. I would love to, but it's just a little expensive, and with me living in Colorado, I would have to fly all the way out to LA. I'd want to do that sometime. I was kind of considering a preseason game because I saw the tickets were only like $6 a ticket for some of the preseason games. I just want to go and see SoFi and like see the Rams play, even if it's not their starters. But to answer your question, I don't think I'm going to any this year. Just gonna be watching from home. But definitely one day I want to go to a Rams game at SoFi. Let me know though if you're going to any. Let's see. Willie Bone says can't wait for Allen Robinson to get his first reception and touchdown. That's going to be really fun. I know I already made a video yesterday, but I think Allen Robinson's going to just provide an element to this offense that the Rams just haven't had in a while. I think it's going to be really fun to see those jump balls, those 50-50 balls. It's going to be so fun to see Allen Robinson go up there, snatch the ball out of the air. And some of these catches, these circus catches that he makes, I mean, they are insane. I cannot wait to see what he can do. Let's see. Jokers for Poker, great, or thank you for stopping the stream. He says, Rams are a better team now than this time last year. I actually agree with you. I mean, we definitely lost some good talent and everything like that, but I think the talent we were able to replace it with, even though it was pretty much just like two players as far as free agency goes, I think the talent we were able to replace it with is stronger because it's an area that we've lacked on both sides of the ball, and I think it's going to be really fun to see how our team does with those areas filled in and almost like they're more improved than they were last year. So I agree with you. Let's see. Johnny Repples says surprise step up player on each side. I'm going with Williams and Robinson. That's a good question actually. So let me think about this. The offensive side of the ball, I'm going to say. That's a tough one. I'd either say Tyler Higbee or I would say Van Jefferson, because I think a lot of people overlook Van Jefferson. One thing I do want him to work on is just when the ball is thrown up, like a 50-50 situation, go deep, to go up and make an effort for it. Like, go up and try to get it. Like, in the Super Bowl, when Stafford threw it deep to him on just kind of like a broken play, he just kind of watched Jesse Bates go up and intercept it. Some of the plays, it just feels like there's not a lot of effort coming from him. But Van Jefferson's a great route runner, and I think he's just been overlooked all this time because he's always been the third or fourth wide receiver on the team. But he put up over 800 yards last season, had a lot of deep balls. So I'd say look out for Van Jefferson or Tyler Higbee. Tyler Higbee, I think it could be a really key, especially with Stafford in his second year. I think he'll get a lot of looks this year. So that's my offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, I would honestly say, I would say what Johnny Ripple was talking about with Justin Hollins. I mean, again, I think a lot of Rams fans are overlooking him because he's not technically a superstar. But again, he was playing really, really well on the Rams before he got hurt, before we traded for Von Miller. And so I would say those are my two step-up players. Let's see. Hopefully it doesn't do that weird scroll down glitch. Ooh, it almost did. Let's see. Johnny Ripple says I would give it the captain patch, that is, I would give it to Floyd because he's been with the team and is a key contributor, but Wagner will probably get it. Yeah, I agree with you. Leonard Floyd's been definitely a great signing ever since we got him from the Bears. Very much a steal for us to get. I could see him getting the captain patch, but again, I just feel like with him probably being the green dot, being a great veteran, I think he's going to steal it. Willie Bowen says a healthy Tyler Higbee will make the LA Rams offense more dangerous. I agree with you. I know he was playing through some injuries last season, and again, I think with Stafford being in his second year with the Rams, he's going to get some more looks. There's going to be different concepts. One thing I did like about last year that we were doing, I don't usually typically like screens in general, but we had some different types of screens with Tyler Higbee in there in the tight ends. It was like some sneaky screens, like look one way, turn back around, throw it, or we were in a good rhythm with running, so we fake the run and we do a tunnel screen with Higbee rather than a wide receiver. Those seem to work out really well as long as we don't like overly do it. I think that could be something that I see with Higbee more this season because he did really good on that. I remember him scoring a touchdown against the Bucks last year, week 3, on those screens. I think they can be effective at the right time. And Higbee, even though he's a tight end, he actually did them pretty well. Let's see. Payo time saves some questions for the fishes. Jeez. Does Big Wit come back for a playoff run? That's an interesting prospect. I definitely would not put it past him. I'm going to say I don't rule it out with him, with the type of competitor is, what the type of human Andrew Whitworth is, and he definitely seems to be very connected to this Rams organization, even though he already retired. I could honestly see that happening, but it would be a situation like, let's say Joseph Noteboom goes down at left tackle and we don't have anybody else that we're confident in. I could see Whitworth suiting up for playoff games. That would honestly be something right up Whitworth's alley, but hopefully it doesn't have to come to that. But definitely would not mind seeing more of Andrew Whitworth because he could probably play till he's like 80 years old. Let's see. Thank you again, everybody who came in to watch and everybody who's commenting. I really do appreciate you guys. Definitely drop a like if you haven't yet, and if you have, thank you so much. Willie Bones says, I pray that Aaron Donald, Bobby Wagner, and Leonard Floyd will get a lot of quarterback sacks. Oh yeah, I think that they will. And that's another thing that I was reading about in articles is that Bobby Wagner is great at the blitz game, and so he's gotten plenty of sacks with the blitzes, and Raheem Morris loves to blitz occasionally. Like, there's some games where I felt like he was blitzing more than others, throwing in some different blitz packages. I could definitely see that happening with Bobby Wagner, and I definitely see Floyd getting over 10 sacks again. Aaron Donald for sure over 10 sacks is like a guarantee every year. And I'd probably say Wagner gets 4 or 5, honestly. Let's see. Hollins and Lewis need to have a breakout season to stay with the Rams. That's a great question. I think Lewis more so, but it's questionable because Hollins is kind of being asked to step up in the role with Von Miller leaving and kind of, even though he's already proven himself on this team, but also like reprove that he's good enough to be that pass rusher, to be the starter edge. More with Lewis, he's that rotational type of guy because of that knee injury. And so I would say for Lewis, he needs to prove it a little bit more because he's getting less snaps than Justin Hollins. He's getting less opportunities to do things. So on the opportunities that he gets, he's going to need to ball out because he has been on a rotation just because of that injury from college, where we really haven't been able to play him a lot. And so I think he's going to really have to show what he can do more than Justin Hollins because we've seen more from Hollins. He's more reliable as far as health goes. And then for Lewis, we really haven't seen a ton from him just because he's had to be that rotational guy. And again, it's not his fault. He was injured, and we need to keep him on that pitch count type of thing so he doesn't re-injure it or, hurt it any more than he needs to. But for me, you look at the guys behind him, I think Lewis would need to step it up a little bit more to earn another contract from the Rams. Hollins, I think, yes, he does need to step up, but he's more of that starter. He's already proven what he can do, and he's very reliable. And so I'd probably say it's more Lewis that needs to do it. Rudy Ramirez says, let's still forget about the OBJ comeback. Yeah, I'm still very confident that the LA Rams will bring back OBJ. And, a lot of people are kind of frantically worrying on different apps, social media, about Odell Beckham Jr. coming back to the Rams just because of what he was able to do. For me, I'm not. He seems to be so indebted in LA. He seems to love LA so much. He's just the perfect player for LA, honestly. If you just look at him, it just spells out LA all over it. He was able to play really well with us, and it was the right role for him. And so, yeah, I think he's going to come back to the Rams for sure, like you said. Again, he would have to be. I saw the target date for him coming back would be November, like late November, at the earliest, which is kind of funny. That was around the time he was traded here last year. So yeah, I'm not forgetting about OBJ for sure. I think the Rams, whatever they want to do, they can do. So it's just really about getting the money and satisfying him. And again, I don't think there's a rush to do it just because he's not going to be playing right away. Let's see. What trade will be made by Demoff, McVay, and Snead by the deadline? Honestly, that's not even that's not even an unrealistic question because we know there's going to be a trade that's happening. I couldn't put my finger on it. I mean, I think the Rams, the way they do it is they like to assess it by week 8 and make their trades like they give the 7-8 weeks to be able to assess the talent that they have. And even if it's just like, okay, this is an average player, they're going to make a move to get a superstar player there. So I don't know. It really depends on how our team is by that season or by that time of the season. I could see running back depending on the health of the running backs or whatever they want. I don't know. I think Akers is going to be really good though coming into this year because he's had more time to recover from that Achilles injury. Let's see. Yes, Rudy OBJ's return will be awesome for sure. The Romelia Sports Report. Welcome into the stream, man. Thank you so much for coming in. Anybody who has not subscribed to Romelia Sports Report, I mean, I don't know what you're doing first off, but second off, definitely go over, head to his channel and subscribe. He does great Rams content. I'm sure you'd enjoy him. Great guy. Definitely go check him out. Thank you so much for stopping in. He says, "What's up, Romelia? Props to Rams House." Thank you so much. He says, "Hey, Peo," and my guy, Willie Bowen. Let's see. Is the NFC a lock for the Rams? AFC turned to a dominant conference in one season or off season. Also, what's your take on the amount of disrespect every analyst across the league? Let's see. I don't understand. Let's see. In one off season, also, what's your take on the amount of disrespect every analyst across the league? If you're talking about disrespect towards the Rams, I mean, like, I'm just kind of used to it by now. My thoughts are like, I try to remove as much media as I can from listening to, like, big media, I should say, because I know that you have to cover 32 teams, and a lot of times they're just trying to drum up debates and arguments to get more views. So as far as that goes, I mean, it's just typical for them. I try to listen to more of like local stuff or smaller channels like Romelia Sports Report, Rams Showcase, Rams Talk, Payo Time, all that. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of the times analysts are disrespecting. They're trying to cause debates and stuff like that, heated arguments, just because it gets views at the end of the day. So I'm not a fan of it, but I'm just kind of used to it. As far as your first part, you said is the NFC a lock for the Rams? I wouldn't say it's a lock, but I would definitely say that like 70-80% chance that we win it. I mean, the Packers are still in it. They're definitely not the strongest team, but they're still in it. Bucks obviously, but I think we've been able to play the Bucks really well. The Rams do have the toughest schedule heading into the season, but I do think that we have a better chance at winning the NFC than last year, and definitely I want to see that happening. And then, yeah, I already answered that second part of the question. Another question says, will Ramsey be in talks for Defensive Player of the Year due to the amount of hate lately? I think it's really hard for a cornerback to get in that conversation. I mean, we saw Stephon Gilmore get in that conversation and then actually win it. But for Ramsey, I don't know if I see that happening just because the role that he plays, the type of player that he is, he's not a guy who likes to bait for picks and then ends up getting a ton of picks because he does that and he just kind of takes gambles. Ramsey takes pride in shutting receivers down. And so that doesn't really go on the stat sheet. I mean, you can see the amount of yards receivers get, like 20, 30 a game maybe. But if the people don't see the interceptions on the stat sheet or the big plays like that, they don't think he should be Defensive Player of the Year. Obviously, I disagree with that, but that's just kind of the way it's worked. So he could be in talks for that, and he has been getting a lot of hate lately. But I don't know if I see him getting into that conversation just because at the end of the day, they look at interceptions and fumbles, stuff like that. Let's see. I'm excited about it. Stafford said, when you get a taste of that success, it only makes you want it more. Yeah, I definitely saw that on, wasn't it the Behind the Grind? I love that series. Definitely love seeing Stafford here. It's still crazy for me to think, like even now, that last year was his first year with the Rams, a brand new team, brand new organization, brand new culture, brand new everything. Yeah, he had to learn all of that, and he won it in his first year. I know everybody's like, well, Brady did that too. But I mean, it's still impressive for a guy who went 1-3 in the playoffs to be able to do that and just step into this team, win a Super Bowl, win your division, and go 4-0 in the playoffs. Like, it's crazy, and I cannot wait to see what he can do this next year, or this upcoming year, I should say. it's also like I was talking to my brother who's a Bengals fan actually, about Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, how crazy it is to me how that was their first season last year together because it looked like they'd been in the league for like 10 years, I don't know, 11 years. And I know that's because their breakfast club and all the extra time they spend together, getting a feel for each other and what each other likes. Um, but I mean, it's just crazy to think back to last year, see all those highlights, see Cooper Cup have the best wide receiver season by any wide receiver, really, in my opinion, in the NFL history. And that was just their first year together. Like, it's just insane. It looked like Stafford had been in the offense for years. Rudy Ramirez says, "Man, I love that Matthew Stafford commercial." It's crazy how he switches teams, like switches from Detroit and comes to LA, and then all of a sudden, he's in commercials, he's getting all the hype and everything like that. And I don't know. I think as a Rams fan, I'm really thankful to have a guy like him, have a roster that have players like him that aren't drama queens. That I mean, like are always begging for attention, kind of like Aaron Rodgers or something like that. We have such a good team from like a personality standpoint, a culture standpoint, general manager standpoint, management. Like everything on this team is just like so perfect right now that it's crazy. Again, I get used to it, but then you look around the league to like 49ers, they don't really know what they're doing as a front office. Like, you still haven't paid Debo yet. He's still, frustrated and talking out about the 49ers, all this and that. And then you look over at the Rams, like, no, we already did our work and more. We signed more players. Oh, we've already traded for 3 players before you even re signed your player. Like, it's just such an amazing team to watch, and definitely don't take it for granted. Let's see. Does Stafford have the talent to replicate Kurt Warner's MVP Super Bowl MVP season? Oh, I definitely think he has the talent to do it. I mean, no disrespect to Kurt Warner. I'm not going to try to do that here. But, I mean, we see it. Stafford has talent, and he's an amazing quarterback. And when you're surrounded by talent that we have, like, just naming guys on the offense, you have Cooper Cup, Allen Robinson. Most likely you're getting Odell back, Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee, Bryson Hopkins, or I don't remember actually if he signed away. No, I think we still got Bryson Hopkins. I got a pretty great offensive line. You have Cam Akers. Talk about the defense. You have Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd. You have Justin Hollins. You have Ernest Jones. You have Bobby Wagner. You have Troy Hill, Jalen Ramsey, Jordan. Like, there's so many great players on this team. I think we have a really good defense who's really going to limit the amount of points the opposing teams puts up, giving us the ball back. I think Stafford could have been in the conversation for MVP last season just based on what he was able to do in his first year. But again, another year under the belt with arguably better talent on both sides of the ball. I mean, I think that's really scary to see, and I think we're going to see him, get that MVP maybe. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. It feels like the league picks favorites sometimes. Like, I feel like with Stafford, the NFL doesn't really give him enough praise that he should get, and I don't know, that might just be me being a Rams fan. It feels like they, want to talk up Brady, talk up Rodgers, and, talk up all these players like Mahomes, stuff like that, and then talk up how they should be MVP or how they should be the best player in the NFL. Stafford just, like, he doesn't demand a lot of attention, and he doesn't celebrate or do all the stuff that the new kids like now. Like, I don't know, I feel like sometimes the league picks favorites and everything like that, so it's going to be hard for Stafford to win MVP, but as far as the numbers go, I think Stafford can definitely replicate that. Let's see. Does Donald win Defensive Player of the Year after adding Bobby Wagner behind him? That's actually a great question. It's tough to say because we do have some great defenders in this league. Like, you talk about TJ Watt in there who won it last year. He's always a threat. And guys on the edge have an easier chance at getting sacks than guys in the middle like Donald, which makes Donald even better. But, you look at guys like TJ Watt, Miles Garrett, stuff like that. That you can see it. Maybe Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa. I mean, the edge defenders are really hard to kind of edge out, no pun intended, for Defensive Player of the Year votes. But I think Donald definitely has a great shot. He's won so many. I would not be surprised. Also, thank you for the questions. Everybody's asking them. If any of you just want to ask any more, you definitely can, because I've got past most of the Bobby Wagner stuff. If you have any questions about the Ram stuff, I'm just here chilling with you guys, just answering questions. So definitely let me know if you have any. I appreciate you. I can't pronounce your name, but the person who's been asking all these questions, they've been great questions, and I appreciate you so much because, I mean, they've been great stuff to be able to keep you guys entertained and be able to talk about Ram stuff. It's definitely my favorite thing to be able to do, just talk about Rams and, be able to discuss it with a bunch of other Rams fans. But I think actually no, I finally caught up to all of the comments, which is surprising because I was talking about Bobby Wagner for so long. I come back and then the chat's just overflowing with all of these comments, and I was like, oh no, like what do I do? Because I just kept scrolling down, but I think I finally caught up. Another question though. It says NFC West record predictions. Great question. Okay, so for the Rams, let me actually see this. I'm gonna head to their schedule. I did the Move series on Payo Time's channel. If you haven't checked that out, it's the most overly optimistic fan from every NFL fan base. I think I had the Rams going 15-2, but it kind of changes every day because they play such great teams. I would say for the Rams though, they'd probably go. I'd say 13-4 to maybe 14-3. I mean, they've got a tough schedule, but I do think they have a great roster to combat that. So I think that they're going to definitely be number one. I mean, that's obvious. I do think that the 49ers take second place. As much as I hate the 49ers, I respect them as a team and what they're able to do versus us. Again, with Bobby Wagner on this team, I really do think that we're going to be able to play them a lot better than we have in years past. But I still want to give them their flowers. They're a great team, and they always seem to have a chance no matter what record they have. So I put the 49ers in second. I would probably put them. It's kind of. I'd say 11-6, 10-7. I mean, it's Trey Lance's first full year to be able to play. We don't really know what he's going to look like yet. So I'd say 11-6, 10-7, probably for the 49ers, taking home second place in the NFC West. Third place, I give the Cardinals. I would probably say 9-8, if not 8-9. Like, I don't know. It feels like the Cardinals are kind of collapsing in front of us. Like. I don't know. I could be looking too much at that wild card round where we just absolutely dismantled them, but until they can prove me that they don't collapse in the second half of seasons, I mean, like I can't be very high on them. So I would say 9-8, 8-9 maybe. They take home third place. Seahawks fourth place. Obviously, without Russell Wilson, they're going to be a much worse team. I think you're going to really see how this team really just depended on his talent to be good over the last handful of seasons. I'd put them 4 to 5 wins, so like 5-12. So yeah, that's what I have. I have the Rams going 14-3, 15-2 maybe, and then I got the 49ers going 10-7, 11-6, and Cardinals 9-8, 8-9, and then Seahawks 5-12. That's my record predictions. Let's see. Your take on the QB situation in Arizona, Seattle, and San Francisco. Okay, Arizona. Well, first, I feel like Kyler Murray's kind of demanding a contract too soon. Like, he hasn't really earned it yet, but he's trying to get one, so it's kind of interesting. I'm glad it's not the Rams having to deal with all this, QB stuff, trying to get them paid and everything. Stafford was easy. I mean, we came into the year needing to extend him, and his was done quickly. The Rams did it right. But I feel like Kyler Murray's is almost rushed. Like, he hasn't really. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't proven a lot in the league to be able to earn a huge contract. But, it's interesting. As long as there's controversy in the NFC West besides the Rams, I'll take it. Seattle, I mean, it's just kind of hysterical. A quarterback battle between Drew Lock and Geno Smith. Like, I live here in Colorado, so I have to hear all about Drew Lock all the time. Or I had to hear about Drew Lock all the time. Like, he's not going to be a quarterback who takes him to the next level at all. Definitely a bridge quarterback, we know that. And then Geno Smith, I mean, he looked good in the first Seahawks game that we played last year near the end, but, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of funny how that's what it's looking like. And then, talking about the 49ers, I think it's really weird. I don't know what's holding up the 49ers getting rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, I don't know what's holding that up. I thought it would happen a lot sooner. Is it because he was injured? Is it like, I don't know what it is. It feels like the 49ers don't want to let him go because they're not confident in Trey Lance. I don't know what to make up with that situation. But again, anytime there's drama, anytime there's controversy in the NFC West that's not pertaining to the LA Rams, I mean, I'll take that. Let's see. Will Jimmy G be traded before the start of the season? I don't know. Like, I'm so confused. I'm guessing he's going to be at least, released. I don't know. It feels like they have to get him off the roster at this point. He's already said his goodbyes to the organization, to the fan base, and everything like that. if you gave up all those picks to move up and get Trey Lance, you believe that much in him. Why do you still have Garoppolo on your roster? It doesn't make sense to me. Let's see. Rudy Ramirez says we have the hardest schedule in the NFL. I can see Coach Sean McVay laughing at that. We are better than this year. Yeah, I can definitely see him doing that too. Like whenever reporters ask those stereotypical questions, like you guys have the hardest year coming or hardest schedule coming into this year, or you guys are you going to try to prioritizing or how hard is it to prioritize running it back in 2022? Like obviously the teams don't view it that way, but for us fans, it's like they have a hard schedule, so I'd probably say put them at 14-3, 15-2. But honestly, it would be awesome to see an undefeated season. You think Alaric Jackson will start at left tackle? Oh no, definitely not, Samuel. It's going to most likely be. I'd put my money on this Joseph Noteboom. I think it's going to be like a lot of people I've seen panicking about Andrew Whitworth and the departure of him leaving that left tackle spot. But I'm with Payo Time. He made a video about this a few days ago, talking about Joseph Noteboom, what he can bring. He has been so good for the Rams when he's been asked to step up. He hasn't been asked to he hasn't been a starter for the Rams since he was drafted, but he's played a good amount of games in replace of some injuries, and he plays really really well each time. And I believe he played against the Bucks in that Super Bowl run in the championship, not the championship game, in the divisional game. Yeah, that's right. Played it in the divisional game against the Bucks, and he played really, really solid against a great front seven. And so, I think Joseph Noteboom's definitely going to step up in there. I think he's going to play really, really good. So definitely not Alaric Jackson. I don't think he's ready enough. Joseph Noteboom's been here for a long time, so I'm definitely ready to see him in there, and he's played really, really well when he's asked to. Let's see. Stafford will lead the league in passing yards. I think that's definitely a huge possibility, especially under Sean McVay. Let's see. I'm still sad that Bobby Wagner isn't a Raven, but I would love to see y'all win in the Super Bowl. Well, thank you so much for stopping in. If you are a Ravens fan, I definitely was worried when I saw he was visiting with the Ravens because it just made sense for him to go to you guys and play for you. It would just be such a Ravens move. But definitely drove up the price in order to come here. So sorry about that. But I hope we can definitely win the Super Bowl. Good luck to your Ravens if you're a Ravens fan. Let's see. Rams will win again this year. I definitely think that again back in the NFL is really really hard, and like winning back to back is really really hard. Let me actually take a look here. Who has won back to back Super Bowls NFL? Or how many teams I should say. I don't know how many teams have won back to back Super Bowls. Let me see if this website, if I can trust this, but my point is, it's hard to do it. It's hard to go back to back and win Super Bowls, but I don't know. I feel like with the Rams in the offseason they definitely made it easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. I don't know this off the top of my head. 7 teams in NFL history have managed to win two Super Bowls in consecutive years. Okay, so 7 teams have only run it back in NFL history. So it's definitely a hard thing to do. In all of the 56 Super Bowls that have been played, there's only been 7 teams to do it, or 7 times. But I don't know. I think the Rams have given themselves a good chance at doing it with what they did in the offseason and how much they improved here. Again, they lost some key pieces. Von Miller's going to hurt a little bit, but I really do think I'd rather have Bobby Wagner than Von Miller, especially at the price that we got Bobby Wagner for compared to Von Miller. So I definitely think we have a good chance at that. Let's see. Also, guys, I'm going to put up a poll here if I can in the chat. Say, let's see, is Bobby Wagner the best Rams linebacker in Rams history? I want to see what you guys think about this. Let's see, what are the other comments here? Noteboom, Edwards, Allen, Jackson, Havenstein. This is possibility. Rams, Ravens. Another comment says Rams Ravens my Super Bowl prediction, but I have my Ravens. Well, I respect that, man. You definitely can be optimistic. I mean, you have Lamar Jackson as your quarterback, so he can definitely make things happen there. Great defense on the Ravens there. I definitely think that would be a very entertaining Super Bowl, but I will say 2 times ago when we played your Ravens, it did not look good for the Rams. What was it, like 46-7 or something like that? Last year, I was glad we were able to get our revenge in that close game, but Huntley played well. Let's see. Which matchups are you most excited for? Great questions. Let me go actually to the Rams' schedule here real quick, because there's a lot of good games to look forward to here. Okay, so Rams and Bills is obviously up there. I'm really looking forward to that. Obviously, it's the opening night, but I think Rams versus Bills is such a good matchup. And if you guys don't remember, I believe it was a 3-point loss the Rams had to the Bills last time we played them. The Rams were getting demolished first half. In the second half, we came storming back, came all the way back just to lose by 3 points. It was that pass interference against Darius Williams that I honestly didn't think was pass interference, but I can't say much as a Rams fan from that Saints game. But yeah, I would say Bills is up there because I really want to get revenge on them. I think that's going to be a really fun game too. Let's see. What other ones could be good? 49ers games, both of those I'm really looking forward to because I think we can beat them twice. Rams Bucks is always good. Rams Chiefs, I really can't wait to see that one. I mean, last time we saw it was the 54-51 Monday Night Football game in November. That was obviously best Monday Night Football game in Rams history or in NFL history. I think Rams Packers will be fun because we haven't seen them beat the Packers in a while, and then they're going to Lambeau in December before Christmas. I think that one's going to be so fun to be able to see, and I think we can actually beat them finally. Like, I believe it's been since 2018 since we've beaten the Packers, so that one I'm looking forward to. Rams Broncos, obviously, Aaron Donald will meet Russell Wilson in a different color jersey this time, and Rams Chargers because I mean, I've seen so many Chargers fans say Rams versus Chargers is a battle of LA, but like it's already been settled. The Rams have won way more games than the Chargers since they moved, have more fans, and they've won a Super Bowl here already in the stadium. So I mean, I feel like we've already won LA, but so I would say most looking forward to the Bills game, the 49ers ones, Chiefs, Packers, Broncos, and Chargers. I know that's a lot of games. I mean, we have a great schedule. I can't wait to see a lot of games. Let's see. BJ, welcome to the stream. He says, do you think the Rams will sweep the Niners this year? Rams only get better this offseason, while the Niners' biggest weapon has yet to be signed, and they have an unproven QB as their starter. Yeah, so it's definitely hard to sweep teams in your division, especially if it's a team like the 49ers that knows us well and was able to have a lot of success versus us. But I mean, I've said it before, and I've said it earlier this offseason. I really think the Bobby Wagner addition that we made is huge because, like I talked about before, his missed tackle rate is incredibly low compared to Troy Reader's. I believe the number was like 5.2 to 14 point something. So 5.2% of the time he misses tackles, and in 2017-2018, those 2 seasons he only missed 5. So first off, you don't have 49ers players running through your whole defense and breaking all these tackles like we've seen in the past. You also have a guy with Bobby Wagner who's athletic as heck, who can bring down players and really lay the hammer on them to bring him down. A guy who has seen the 49ers have had so much success versus them over the last, or over his career in Seattle, has done really well versus them. He's seen it all in the league, so he knows what to expect versus them. Great at the film study, improves the best aspect on our roster. That was the worst last year. Arguably, they would say the linebacker was our worst position last year. I mean, you add all that up, I think we have a better chance of sweeping the 49ers. Allen Robinson diversifies our wide receiver room. It's going to be fun to see Stafford in his second year. I think that also gives us a boost, is that, having Stafford in his second year, really knowing the system even more, knowing where everybody is, everything like that. Even though we won the Super Bowl, another year doesn't hurt. And then you talk about Cam Akers to hopefully help our run presence in the offensive side of the ball. He's going to have more time to heal from that Achilles that he has suffered last training camp. So, I mean, you put all that together, I definitely think we can sweep the 49ers. And like you mentioned, they have an unproven quarterback who's more of a raw prospect. I think he'll be good more in the future years, but I think early on it's going to be a little bit rough. So I think we have a good chance of sweeping them for sure. Christmas against Wilson. Let's see. Jokers for Poker says we've had some great linebackers in the past. London Fletcher, Jim Hacksaw Reynolds, and Jim Youngblood, to name a couple. I think you meant. Oh no. Yeah, I. That's the hard thing because the poll's out of 50-50 right now as who's been the best linebacker in Rams history. Is it Bobby Wagner? 50-50. It's a really tough thing because, like you said, we've had great linebackers, but definitely in recent memory, Bobby Wagner has been the best for us. We haven't even seen him play yet. Let's see. Can the Rams sweep the division this season? That's a really tough thing because that means you get 8 guaranteed wins if you're just looking at the schedule at this point. I do think that we sweep the Cardinals. I do think that we sweep the Seahawks, obviously. It's just really the 49ers are a toss-up. I could see the 49ers winning one of those games and it being mainly because of their run game. But it's also really hard because, again, Wagner is such a great addition. He can stop the run really well, read the plays, everything I discussed. So, honestly, I would say this is the best chance we've had to sweep the division in the last, I don't know how long, like 10 years? I don't know. I think this is the best chance we've had, though, in a while. Bobby Wagner hasn't played a game yet for the Rams, so I can't say he's the best linebacker. Okay, I respect that for sure, and honestly, I can't say he's the best yet or not either because, again, we've had great linebackers. We haven't seen him play yet, but based on everything we know about him, his intelligence, all of that, based on us believing he won't get injured, hopefully, I think he has a good chance. Rudy Ramirez says Eric Henderson has established a culture with this defense. Dog work. I'm excited for this year, or for this year's defense. We are looking scary. Oh yeah, I definitely really appreciate Eric Henderson. I'm glad he's getting more featured by the Rams. And yeah, again, this defense I think it really can be a top 5 defense. You talk about Raheem Morris coming into his second year. He was really starting to turn it on and figure things out in the playoffs. His defense played amazing in the playoffs. You talk about you getting Jordan Fuller back. Other side, I would really like to see Nick Scott rather than Taylor Rapp. I don't know. That's my personal preference. And then you have in the linebackers, you have obviously Ernest Jones and Bobby Wagner. You have Justin Hollins rushing on one side. You have Leonard Floyd on the other side. Great gains, Ashawn Robinson switching out, and Aaron Donald on that pass rushing side. Then you have Jalen Ramsey, Troy Hill coming back. And you have David Long Jr. I'm not sure who they have as the slot cornerback or as the third cornerback, wherever. But this defense is looking really, really good. And I think our continuity, getting Troy Hill back is huge. I think he's going to have a nose for the football. It's going to be really interesting to see how he plays on this Rams team without Brandon Staley and see how he'll play, what role they carve out with him with Raheem Morris, though. Let's see. I think the Rams go 5-1 in the division. Would you say that they would drop 1 to the 49ers? 'Cause I would assume so, but I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm excited for the opening game when we face Von Miller, the cherry picker, in the ring ceremony. Yeah, that's going to be really fun. It's going to be interesting, too. I don't really know how the raising the banner thing works, because I don't think the Rams can technically do that because we share with the Chargers, the stadium, unfortunately. But yeah, as far as the game goes, it's going to be really interesting because I think that's going to be a big test for Joe Noteboom. With Von Miller coming back, Von Miller will be rushing against Joe Noteboom sometimes, maybe all the time. I really hope we can get some good revenge on Von Miller. He's definitely going to be providing that pressure. First game of the season, he'll be juiced, but I think we can pull out the win. Sweep the Seahawks and the Cards and split against the 49ers. Okay, I respect that. Is Tutu at risk to be a bust? I mean, you can't really call a prospect a bust after one season, but I would say, I don't know. It's really hard. He hasn't really gotten a big opportunity, but he's definitely, in the opportunities he got last season before he got injured, he really didn't show a lot of promise. But there's potential as far as his speed goes, his electricity goes. I think in Sean McVay's offense he can do a lot, but even when he was on punt returns, he really didn't flash a lot. So he definitely has a risk of being a bust. I think a lot of people were looking towards that, hoping for that when he was picked with our first pick of the draft last year. But definitely not hoping for him to fail at all. I just hope that he can, pick it up, find a good role on our offense, find a good role on this team, and then eventually, hopefully, become a superstar for his sake. The Allen Robinson signing plus the Odell hype really points to it being a possibility, for sure. Let's see. Gaines or A-Rob, who makes the bigger impact this upcoming season after their performances in the Super Bowl? That's a really, really good question. Um, I'm assuming that you mean Ashawn Robinson, not Allen Robinson for A-Rob. Um, but it's really tough to tell. I think Greg Gaines played the better regular season, as far as just like the whole stretch of the 17 games last season. But Ashawn Robinson played the better playoffs. And Robinson stuffed the run really, really well and was just playing out of his mind in the playoffs. But I would probably say Greg Gaines. It's just hard to tell because they get the splits in here and there. But I would just say Ashawn Robinson is more of a guy who steps up for the playoffs just based on what we saw last year. Let's see. Raheem Morris will have the number one defense. I mean, I could definitely see that. Last year, I was thinking that our defense would be around, top 10 maybe. But this year, I'm really high on them for sure. Rudy Ramirez says Chargers need to move back to San Diego. It's Ram City. Definitely, for sure. I mean, I'm hoping sometime in the future that happens because I think it's kind of dumb to share a stadium, especially if we're paying for like 99% of the stadium. Chargers like pay like $1 for rent, whatever. Um, I don't know. I feel like it's always kind of dumb to have two teams in the same spot playing in the same stadium. Like I don't know. But that's me. But it does give the Rams an extra home game technically this year, so that gives us like 10 home games. I don't know. Let's see. Can you see Ndamukong Suh coming back? Um, I would only see him coming back if he came to play for us for extremely cheap. Because I think when you look at the Rams, like when you look at the position there, we have Aaron Donald in the middle, obviously. Ashawn Robinson, Great Gaines played really, really well. I think it would just be a luxury to bring him in, but when you look at the priorities, I think bringing back Odell is a little bit bigger, or looking at some of the future contracts. Ndamukong Suh would be something I see happening if, like, hopefully this doesn't happen, obviously. If, like, Aaron Donald goes down, then Gaines goes down, like, seeing him coming back in that situation. But as of right now, I really don't think it's a huge priority. Let's see. Yes, remember we have two A-Robs. Well, yeah, okay, so you're talking about Ashawn Robinson. Rudy Ramirez says, that's funny, $1 for rent. I was laughing. I mean, that's pretty much all they pay. Like, they come to play football that doesn't even get them into the postseason in LA, playing in our stadium, don't even get to the Super Bowl and claim they're the LA team. They pay $1 rent. Like, I don't know. What are you supposed to do? I don't know. I've just always felt that that's just kind of a dumb thing. Having two teams play in one stadium, especially again when it's not like they're splitting the rent for it. It's like they're literally paying like $1. Like I don't know. That's me. Let's see. It looks like I'm finally caught up on the comments. If you guys have any other questions, definitely open to listening to them. Again, chill part of the stream where you can ask me anything. I appreciate everybody who's come in to comment, like, super chat, whatever. Anything that you've been able to do tonight. It's been so fun hanging out with you. Definitely not coming off right now. Just letting you know, thank you so much for coming in. With Scott making huge plays this last postseason, who out of the safety will be starting? Duo prediction: the Rams will will the Rams re-sign Rapp? Okay, that's a great question. My personal preference is having Jordan Fuller on the right side of the safety or the free safety position, and the strong safety be Nick Scott. I don't know. I feel like that just fits really well. Nick Scott really did ball out in the playoffs, played really, really well. And honestly, I feel like Taylor Rapp, and I know Random Showcase can back me up on this, he believes this too. I honestly think Taylor Rapp is a little bit average to below average, and he just really hasn't progressed over the years he's been with the Rams. I don't see the Rams bringing him back on another contract. If they do, I'll be mad. Obviously, I'll still be rocking with the Rams no matter what. But if they re-sign Taylor Rapp, I'm not going to really understand it because we have great safeties. We drafted Terrell Burgess, drafted Quentin Lake in this year's draft. Obviously, Nick Scott in there, and then Jordan Fuller. Like, we have good safeties. I don't see a need to have Taylor Rapp, re-sign unless he balls out and then play him over Scott. Let's see. What time is it anyway? 8:03? Okay. Rams won the Super Bowl. It's time for the Chargers to go to San Diego or move far away to, like, Toronto. The Toronto Chargers sounds good to me. Oh, honestly, yeah, let's put out a petition. Let's have the Chargers move back or move over to Toronto as far away as possible. I mean, I feel like one day we'll see the Rams just having the SoFi Stadium to their own. and being the only team in LA. But I don't know. I'll just have to deal with it for now. Let's see. Rams 2022 schedule. What do you mean by that, Danilito Torres? I'm sorry if I butchered that name. Okay, Rochelle or Long, who starts? That's a good question actually. Rochelle is still very raw, but I think the ceiling that he has is really high. And again, he has like, I'm not saying he's Jalen Ramsey, definitely not, but he has like the similar body type to Jalen Ramsey and the size and everything like that. So I feel like he has a high ceiling in some of the plays we were able to see. But again, he's very raw. We saw him make a lot of mistakes last season. I think David Long edges him out just simply because of experience and how he played in the playoffs. And for now, that's what I see happening. But Rochelle's definitely not a bad option either. Rams versus Bills Thursday Night Football. That's gonna be fun. Thoughts on Skoranek? Okay, so this is hard for me to do because he was drafted. What was it? It was like a 6th or 7th round. Let's see. How do you even spell his name? Oh, there we go. When was he drafted? It was like 6th or 7th round. Yeah, he was picked with the 249th pick in the NFL draft last year. With Ben Skoranek, that's the hard thing for me because I get mad at him because of he wasn't able to produce very well when he was asked to. He dropped that big pass in the NFC Championship game on that deep ball Stafford threw to him. Just literally, sometimes he looks really, really uncoordinated with what he's doing, just like kind of flopping around everywhere. And then in the Super Bowl, the the one that Stafford threw across the middle, trying to come back against the Bengals, went off of his hands. It was picked off. Like, yeah, there are some plays here and there that he did, but again, at the end of the day, he's a 7th round pick, so I can't get too mad at him because he shouldn't be expected or shouldn't be being played as much as he was. It was just because of injuries and everything like that. But I'll say this: I don't want him to be on the field too much right now, at least. We will see a trio of running backs, will we see a trio of running backs or a workload for Akers? It feels like the Rams really like Darrell Henderson a little bit more than me. I feel like I like Akers a little bit better, and Henderson doesn't feel as explosive to me. I feel like Henderson is a little bit better in the passing game as far as like catching there and everything. I don't see what's his name? It's slipping off my Kyron Williams. I don't see him getting a ton of playing time to have it like a 3-back set, or not 3-back set, but like a 3-back rotation. I think Akers gets most of the workload. I think Henderson comes in here and there when Akers is tired, and Henderson gets more of the passing snaps to try to catch a ball out of the backfield or do a wheel route, whatever. I don't think Kyron Williams gets a lot of playing time, and I do believe it was either a broken foot or he injured his foot in camp, so I don't think we'll see a lot of him. But I do believe Akers will get most of the carries. Let's see. Stafford to Akers touchdown, yep. Does Cup repeat as is the Triple Crown? I don't know. Honestly, it's so hard to do in one season. I don't think a wide receiver's ever done that in NFL history. And I think that teams coming into this season are going to be playing Cup a lot. Like, they're going to be focusing on him even more and have more time to prepare for him. And so I can't say that he's going to, get the Triple Crown again, but I do think that he's going to improve in other areas that doesn't go on the stat sheet. I do think he'll go over 1,600 yards. I mean, I don't know, that's definitely bold, but, I think with Stafford, they just have such a good chemistry. They'll be able to do a lot, but I don't know if I'd say a Triple Crown for 2 years in a row. I mean, Cooper Kupp can definitely do it, it's just definitely hard. Kupp does if Jefferson step up. Yeah, and with Kevin O'Connell, our former quarterback coach, going to Minnesota, I've heard that it's going to be more of a passing-centered or passing-centric offense. Justin Jefferson was talking about how he's going to be used as Cooper Kupp, which, I have my thoughts on that. But yeah, Justin Jefferson, I think is going to do really good under Kevin O'Connell in that passing offense. But I still think Kupp could out-yardage him, if that's a word. Let's see. Henderson is going to get a lot of snaps unless Akers has improved in pass protection. I feel like the Rams just really like Akers. Like, even him coming off of that Achilles injury, that he had, they were still like playing him more than Sony Michel, who was playing really good. It feels like they really seem to like Akers, and I like Akers' explosive ability, but also the fact he can make most like a lot of people miss with a bunch of different juke moves. To me, Henderson just kind of feels slow, like a little lethargic at times. He can definitely do his thing in the passing game and pass protection, and Akers should work on that for sure. But I do think that Akers gets more of the, I guess, bulk of the production. Hope they win the playoffs and make it back to the Super Bowl in Arizona. Yeah, I think they have a really good chance of doing it for sure. Let's see. Would you move Ramsey to free safety? No, cornerback is definitely his spot. Kendall Blanton, I can see him getting better and better. Yeah, it's crazy the amount of players that we saw step up in that Super Bowl run when players would go down. We continue to see more guys step up that weren't really expecting to get a lot of playing time. And Kendall Blanton, I was really glad to see what he's able to do. Glad to see that touchdown he got in Tampa Bay. It's cool to see stories like that when they don't get a ton of playing time, but he's able to do his thing there. I think if he gets some good snaps in there, I definitely think he can do some good things. Let's see. Thoughts on Morris remaining with the Rams not being offered a head coaching job after seemingly over. I don't know. It's. I think there's a typo. Every other coach gets snagged from. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. So thoughts on Morris remaining with the Rams despite like all the other assistant coaches always being pilfered from the Rams. I think that like I'm happy about it. At first, like if Morris didn't really improve in his defensive play calling in the playoffs, I wouldn't have been happy that we kept him because I don't know. It just felt like our defense was pretty bad throughout the season. But I think second half of the season in the playoffs, I really think that Morris did step it up, and I think it's really going to help for the Rams defense because there's more continuity. We already know what we're doing as a base, and we've been able to learn. We don't have a whole new system coming in, a whole new person with different preferences, wanting to play with different players. So I'm happy about it, and I'm hoping that he can continue that playoff success that he had into the season. Let's see. Can the Rams make it to the Super Bowl? They can do it. I bet they can. Yeah, I think they can make it to another one. Who do you think is the biggest threat in the NFC? That's a tough question. I would probably say there's not a lot of talent left in the NFC anymore. I would honestly probably say the 49ers just because they're really good at scheming against us very well. Again, I've talked about how Bobby Wagner is really going to help with that. I'm really excited to see that. But they're still a good team, well-run team as far as the coaching goes there. I'd also say the Packers because they have Aaron Rodgers. If we're playing him in the NFC Championship game, it's an easy win for us, obviously. But in the regular season, I would say it's the Packers or the 49ers. Let's see. Rudy Ramirez says, "Is your brother confident the Bengals will go to another Super Bowl?" Man, that live stream with you guys both was epic. Thank you so much, Rudy Ramirez. Okay, so I've talked to him about this a lot because I've had to kind of guard my words in celebrating around him just because he's a Bengals fan, obviously. But what he's told me is he's really excited to see what Burrow can do with all that protection he has on the offensive line now and like what they're able to do to improve that. But he said he's still a little bit worried about a Super Bowl hangover because he's confident that they won't have it, but it feels like every team has a hangover. But he definitely believes with Burrow, he's like more of a clutch quarterback that can get him back to there. But he's a little bit worried about that hangover. He's definitely still a little bit mad at Aaron Donald for ending that Super Bowl. But yeah, guys, let me know again if you want me to bring on any other of my family members for any live streams or videos, because I have an Eagles fan in my family, a Steelers fan in my family, a Cowboys fan in my family. I know the Cowboys. A Giants fan in the family, the Bengals fan, obviously, a Bears fan, and a Packers fan. So there's a lot of teams that are in my family, just in my primary family. Let's see. 49ers, because Debo is going to prove a lot more this year. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. I hope we don't lose one game in LA. If we do, I let it be away. Oh, I hope it's away. Let's see. Sound crazy, but I really want Brandon. I'm not sure who you're talking about, honestly. Yeah, I can't put my finger on that. Johnny Ripple says, I meant Hollins is my step-up player on D. Don't know why I said Robinson. Yeah, I was a little bit confused on that, but yeah, I definitely think that Hollins, again, he is underrated, and I definitely will expect him to step up. And if you take a look at the poll, guys, again, on is Bobby Wagner the best linebacker on the Rams, or the Rams have ever had, it's crazy. It's back to 50-50 again. I think we're going to really have to see how he does this season, and again, it's good competition he's going up against. Do we re-sign any of our running backs? All are injury prone. K. Williams just had surgery for his foot. It's tough for me to see them re-signing Darrell Henderson, just because, like, again, he's not like an elite guy, and I think you can. Running backs are so easy to replace in this league that I feel like we may not see him re-sign, but it's kind of hard to tell because he's still a pretty good player for us. Akers, again, we're gonna have to see how he performs over the next couple of years. Kyron Williams, it's too early to judge on that. See, bring on a Cowboy fan for passing on Bobby. Yeah, he was mad about that, and I was like, I mean, hey, you should have just chose the Rams as your favorite team. I mean, I don't know. There always has to be a Cowboy fan in somewhere, like your family or a friend. You always have to know a Cowboys fan. I don't know why. It's just they're everywhere. Okay, guys, if you have any more questions, I'll probably wrap it up over the next 10 minutes. Again, I do appreciate everybody who liked the video, who subscribed, who just tuned in, watched, commented, super chatted. Thank you, everybody who's been able to come in and enjoy this video, the stream with me. Again, any other questions, I'll just be here probably another 5-10 minutes, depending on if anybody else comments. And then that'll do it for me on this, I thought it was a Friday night, on Saturday night. Trying to think if there's anything else to talk on. I mean, we definitely have the best coach in the league. Sean McVay is doing all this stuff. Rudy Ramirez says, when are you coming back for other Ram Talk? Like, when is my next video, Rudy Ramirez? I'm not sure I know what you mean. If you mean, like, my next video, I believe it should be Monday. Maybe Tuesday, but it depends. It could be tomorrow, but usually I like to use Sundays as like more of an off day, like not do any work or anything like that. But who knows? I could be back on tomorrow if you're talking about content wise, like when's the next video coming out. Also, while you guys are here, if you guys have any suggestions for any videos in the future, this is the time to do it because I'm just on live right now. Okay, Rudy Ramirez says yes. Okay, so as far as my next video, I'm still planning out which one I want to do next. But it should probably be Monday or Tuesday. That's what I'm aiming for, just because it takes a while to edit and all of that and get all the mic audio on and everything. So I'm not going to do anything tomorrow, I don't think, but Monday, Tuesday, I think is the best bet. Will McVay resign, and for how long? Yeah, he'll definitely resign with the Rams, especially with considering what he's done for the Rams since he's come in here and gone to 2 Super Bowls, won 2 NFC championships. I mean, won so many divisions. Like, I think he's definitely going to come back. I'd be shocked if the Rams didn't ever re-sign him. As far as how many years goes, I'm not really sure how coaching contracts work, but I would probably say 4 to 5 years. I don't know, to give him time to consider media, other types of stuff he may want to do. But let's see. I'm gonna end this poll real quick, and it ends at 50. That's crazy. But yeah, thank you guys, everybody who stepped into this live stream. I do greatly appreciate everybody who was able to come in and just be able to, engage, talk some Rams with me. It was definitely a lot of fun with all of you, and you guys asked some great questions. Thank you to everybody who watched all the way through on the video. It really does appreciate, or I really do appreciate it. You guys are so fun to talk to. You don't know how blessed I am to be able to talk Rams with other Rams fans, considering nobody else in my family is a Rams fan. To be able to talk with a bunch of you guys, it's always going to be a fun time, always makes my night. So thank you guys just for being you and for talking Rams with me. We have a super chat. Thank you so much, Rudy Ramirez. I do not know how much I can tell you that I appreciate that. Thank you so much for all you do supporting the channel and for this super chat. I really do appreciate it. Honestly, I know it's just $3, but it really does make my day. Again, all I'm doing is talking Rams with you guys. It's so much fun. So thank you guys so much, and thank you, Rudy Ramirez, specifically. Let's see. I enjoy hearing your thoughts on what Romelia is thinking about. Thank you so much, Jokers for Poker. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody who was able to stop in here. And again, I cannot wait for this NFL season. Expect more content Monday or Tuesday. I can't wait to be back on here talking Rams with you. And now the big problem is trying to find a way to get this camera down. This is going to be interesting. Ooh, it's all strapped in. All right.